Good morning, everybody. Josh Rosales here along with Ashley Gaylor, and we are co-hosts of Break-Thru Nashville. We are unfortunately missing our third person, Alex. He had to drop off this morning, but he will be on our next episode. But Alex, myself, and Ashley, we're super excited to have Anna Sherrill, the chef, Anna Sherrill, aka Chef Joy, with us this morning on Brew with the Crew. Super excited to be talking with Chef Joy in regards to all things culinary. She's doing some amazing things in Nashville, in Middle Tennessee. I want to talk to Chef Joy about what she's done, what she currently has going on, and then what she has coming up in the future, because her business is just exploding, and she is getting booked, and people are just everyone is demanding her services because they're that good. My wife Frances had Chef Joy host her birthday party, this last birthday party, and it was incredible. So Chef Joy, thank you so much for hopping on with Brew with the Crew, for spending some time with us this morning. And I'm just super excited to get into this discussion with you and learn about what you're doing. Now, to preface this, I know your mom for quite a few years. And when your mom was telling me that you were moving from, I think, St. Louis to Nashville, I was like super excited because, you know, your mom loves you. Like, she is like your biggest cheerleader. She's like, yeah, she's coming to Nashville. She's going to open her business and all this. And I'm like, man, this is incredible. And I remember when you came to Nashville and you started your business, it was a little, you know, anytime starting a business, a little slow getting started and figuring things out. But from where you were to where you are right now and to where you're going is just light years, and you have gained so much traction. So what I'd like to share with our listeners is, you know, not a secret, but Ashley Gaylor is also food industry background. And I know this is something right up his alley as well. But so tell us a little bit. You went to culinary school, like give us a little bit of background that led you up to you moving to Nashville.
Well, I'm from.
May,
Well,
may I
yeah,
say real quick before she gets on that, just so people know, the culinary school she went to and graduated from is the top in the country. So in case she doesn't mention that, but I will. So,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I'm very
Johnson and Wells is the top in the country. So,
It's a pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good school.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. So I'm from Nashville. I'm born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. So I've always, loved cooking. I've always loved being in the kitchen. So when I was younger, I grew up. I'm still am. I'm not as shy as I used to be. Um, my mom was trying to figure out what is she like, because she doesn't talk too much. I don't know what she likes. So she would sign me up for sports, and then she would realize, she really doesn't like sports. And then she would sign me up for certain things, and then she was like, she really doesn't like that. But I don't know what gave her, the idea that I really like to be in the kitchen. So when I was around 8 years old, she put me in this program called Young Chefs Academy, which I'm not sure if they're still open. But if you're in Nashville, they were located in this Cool Springs area. And after I did that I think I did that for a few months, around 8 or 9 years old. That's when I knew working with food and working in the kitchen was something that I wanted to do. And like a lot of aspiring chefs, you're not really told about the other careers that aren't in, a restaurant or, because at the time I just thought you could work in a restaurant. I didn't think about the other things you could do. So when I got into high school, because I still had this dream of being a chef, I've always wanted to be, have my own business. So my mom knew someone that owned a barbecue, Rock's Barbecue, best barbecue in Nashville. And he let me work in his kitchen for the summer between I think it was between my junior and senior year. I learned a lot. There's some things that he taught me that, I still implement to this day. But then I realized, a restaurant, I don't have the temperament for it. And when I say the temperament, it's very high paced, it's not a good place for a person that's very introverted. Let's just say that. But I really enjoyed it. I was just, that's what it dawned on me. I don't think I want to work in a restaurant. I want to be able to be more personal with the food and be able to interact with the customer. Because when you're working in a restaurant, you're feeding anybody and you don't really get to know the customer. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. So when I graduated from high school, I first attended Mississippi State University in Starkville, Mississippi, where I graduated with my bachelor's in food science, nutrition, and health promotion with a concentration in food and nutrition, because I wanted to know more about why food is so important. And I just didn't want to learn how to prepare it. I wanted to learn the science behind it. So that's why I first got my degree in nutrition. So while in college, I worked in catering. I did a few internships. And then I graduated from Mississippi State. And then after Mississippi State, that's when I went to Johnson and Wales and got my degree in culinary. And because I had that nutrition background, my first job I got out of culinary school, I was relocated to St. Louis, where I worked, which was my first non-cooking job. And I absolutely hated it because the kitchen was where I wanted to be. I wanted to work with the food, and I was working, for the school district at the time. And I was the manager for over 10 schools. I was seeing 10, 11 schools at once. And I missed my baby, which was the kitchen. So I just started, like I said, I've always wanted to have my own business, and being a personal chef got on my radar during my bachelor's program. And that's when I was like, you know what, one day I'm gonna, bite the bullet and just become a personal chef. But just like a lot of people, I was scared. So I was thinking, maybe I'll become a personal chef 20 years from now, maybe 30 years from now. But then when I was in St. Louis working that job, and I said, I'm just gonna do it. You never know what may happen, in the future. So I left St. Louis, came back to Nashville, and I started Joyful Foods full time. I started off just doing personal chefing and meal prep. But during the past few months, I have slowly but surely trying to preference my personal chefing, because that's where my real passion is. Now, I still, as you can see on the website, I still do weekly meal prep because I do have like those loyal customers. But I did pause the meal preps for a few months just to revamp everything and make it better for, my customers. And it's been proven to people really have this need for meal prep because they don't have time to cook or they don't want to cook. they don't know what to cook, and that's where I step in. Being a personal chef is the best job in the world because I get to be creative. I get to, meet different people all the time. I probably do 90% of my bookings of people that aren't even from Nashville. So I meet people from all over the world. I've cooked for, a group of people that were traveling traveling to Nashville from Switzerland. I have met some pretty magnificent people, and I love what I do.
Hey, Anna, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you're doing some incredible things. Meal prep is one of the many things that you're doing in regards to cooking. So with the meal prep, do you already have a menu? You already have a menu that they can choose from, or can they say, hey, we just want to choose something that's not on the menu, and then you prep that?
So I have two different options. So I do the weekly meal delivery, and with that, it's a set menu. So the customers will get on, they have to have their orders in by Monday at 12 a.m. And they place their order. And then on Wednesday, they can either get it for delivery or pick up. And then I also have it on the personal chef side, which I have done for a couple of people where they want of a more customizable approach. So I will either come in their homes and, I will give them a menu based on, I give them like a 3-page questionnaire, they answer those questions. And then every week they get a menu based on those preferences. So I come in their home, prepare the meals for the week, clean up, put the meals in the refrigerator for them. Then I'm out the door, and then I see them again the next week or a few days later, or however they want to see it. With that, like I said, they get a menu based on their preferences compared to weekly meal delivery, which is, this is a menu, this is what you get.
Exactly. So that's the meal prep. And then what other services do you provide when it comes to cooking, catering, different things like that?
Yeah, so I also do some catering. I don't really advertise as a caterer per se, but I do catering from time to time. I actually just did one the week before last. I booked my first wedding as a caterer.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it was it was a small wedding. It wasn't huge. But I did do my first wedding, and that was a proud accomplishment for me because I never thought I would ever get a wedding. So I did that, and I was just amazed at the growth, and I was just shocked. Like I grew this much in a short amount of time. I'm still not where I want to be, but I know I'm slowly but surely getting to that point.
What do you think some of this
I love that. I love that. What I really like is the nutrition aspect part of it. Most places we go, if it don't taste good, throw butter to it, right? So
Right.
and I do keto. I'm very aware of what I put in my body. I was a butcher. I was a butcher for almost 30 years, and I can tell you, and this as well as anybody, we are what we eat, right? Because I can see it in the animals that I harvested for years. They are what they eat. It can't be delicious if it wasn't raised correctly and it didn't eat well, right? So the nutrition aspect of what you're doing is very intriguing to me because that is something that a lot of chefs, not right or wrong, they don't they necessarily going to cook what people are going to that is going to taste the best. And what people don't realize, what you're doing, it can be very nutritious and be delicious at the same time if it's done correctly. Would you agree with that?
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah,
Definitely. And I've even had my own, view on food using my personal, experience. So I definitely know that from firsthand. But typically, I rarely get, so if someone books me, like, let's say a couple's celebrating their anniversary, one thing that I hear commonly is like, we typically eat healthy, but this is a one in a lifetime opportunity. So they usually want to, splurge that night. I cooked for, a party recently, and they were all very health conscious. And it was a bachelorette party, and she told me, this day we're gonna eat. She said we're gonna splurge. So, treating
cheap
yourself
meal.
every so often. Yeah. So treating yourself every so often isn't, bad. And then I don't want to get into a whole thing, but there's a whole movement on food where a lot of people see food as a bad thing, and that's not the case. I cater to people that want to be healthy, and I cater to those people that just don't have a preference and they just want to eat good food. I personally do not cook with butter, just because I'm not a huge fan of butter. Now, if there's something that requires butter, I obviously use it, but I'm not going to be like, more butter, y'all. I'm not going to, I'm not like, no.
I just threw that out there. So do you have any keto meal prep menu options?
I do not. And the reason why, because that's a whole nother thing I could get into about keto, and there's a whole, it's like I said, I don't want to
just say that for another time, huh?
You say that for a different time about the whole keto diet and the things that are required for that. Coming from my nutrition background,
keto
I have my own
opens
opinions
up
on keto.
It can open up a whole can of worms for some people, depending on which side of it you're at. I agree with that. I do mine. I personally think that everybody's journey is, like you're talking about. It's depending on what they want to do, but I do mine. I do mine right. I'm not heavily relying on butter. I use, the natural fats.
Well, that's good.
I'm heavy on olive oil, and it actually helped my cholesterol. But I'm not sitting over here pounding bacon and butter all day either. So
right, yeah, and I do offer lower carb options, not necessarily keto. So
gotcha.
So on the weekly meal delivery, if something is, let's say, a pasta dish, I give them an option. You can swap out the pasta for, vegetable noodles, or if it's a potato, you can, I do give that, that option, because I know some people do that. But like for the more in-home meal prep, if you're on keto, we'll do a keto meal plan.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
If you're vegan, we'll do an all vegan meal plan. If you have high cholesterol, we'll make a meal plan that will focus on, and works with a dietitian, work on lowering that cholesterol. That's why I say, with the in-home meal prep, it's 100% what you need, what you're looking to do.
Hey, Anna, a lot of businesses, I'd like for you to talk a little bit on the grind. What are some of your biggest challenges from starting your business? What are some of the biggest successes that you've experienced in having your own business? What keeps you up at night when you have your own business, when it comes to running your business? And if you can talk to some of that, some of the challenges, some of the successes that you've encountered along this journey of being a business owner.
Yes, definitely. So I would say, with any business, especially being a personal chef business during these times with COVID and inflation, it's just a hard time for everybody. And that is one thing that I do stress about a lot is, being a person, not everyone can afford a personal chef. They may be able to afford like a personal chef for a one-time thing, but they may not be able to afford it continuously. And one challenge that I have had is imposter syndrome. Feeling like maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe, there's so many personal chefs in the world. Why would they come to me? So I would downplay myself a lot. And, it's getting over the mental huddles have been the biggest struggle that I have dealt with. And so when you have that mental roadblock, you mentally are like, okay, maybe, I have someone that approached me for a quote and they want this, this, and this, and this. And then I give them a quote and they're like, okay, you're too high. I'm going to go to somewhere else. And then I'll be like, you know what? Maybe I am. So let me downplay myself to, accompany that. But like, and then I look back at it and I was like, I shouldn't have done that. So I am learning to get over the imposter syndrome and learning my worth. I still have my moments, obviously. And another thing that I don't want to call it a struggle, but one thing that is hard, I guess you can say, is, getting to the right people, getting in front of that right audience that is looking, for your services. So one thing that I have done recently was reaching out to real estate agents and Airbnb hosts, vacation rental homes, gyms, personal trainers, dietitians, because of my shyness, it was, been like a struggle for me to reach out to those people. But then I had to basically get over it because I have a view for myself and I have a view for Joyful Foods that I am trying to accomplish. And I started Joyful Foods like a year and a half ago. And to look at me then and look at me now, it's a complete 180. But I am very hard on myself. But it's been a fun journey. Like I said, I love what I do. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think being hard on yourself is good, but being hard on yourself can have an opposite effect. And you got to be really conscious of that and really balance it out. Talking about, you got to, for me, Anna and Ashley, and hey, Jabri, thanks for joining us this morning. I think that the passion and the drive for your business and to see it succeed has to outweigh and has to be more than like you said, the shyness or being introvert. Like, it's like, I have a business, I got to put food on the table. Plus I get to meet a lot of amazing people and make a lot of incredible connections. And so the drive that's inside of you overtakes that the shyness or the being introvert, and it really
Most
brings
definitely.
something out in you that is a driving factor in the success of your business. The other thing too is I always say that in the absence of value, everything falls to price. And you're absolutely right. When you are saying, you know what, maybe I do need to drop my prices, or maybe there's other chefs that are better than me. No, everybody's going through the same thing. And like you said, it all starts in the mind. And then the absence of value falls price. And so, people just have to, and Coach Michael Burt says some will, some won't. So what? There's 7.5 billion people on the face of the earth. And I'm going to worry about one person, two people, three people. No, it's a numbers game. I got to get in front of as many people as I can. And like I told you, Anna, I said, we got the guy on here, Ashley Gaylor, that knows so many real estate agents. I think that's the other thing too, Anna and Ashley, you can speak to this, Jabri, if you want, but it's connecting yourself to other people. It's called networking, connecting yourself to other people to put you in contact with those people that are going to be the game changers, the people that are going to be those centers of influence that are going to help you. And then we all help each other with that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ashley?
You're totally right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at the date night menu. I was opening up myself. Now I'm starving to death right now. And it's 7:40. I don't get to eat until 11. So it's going to be rough. I shouldn't have looked at that. So that menu looked incredible. Yes, I agree. I believe that exactly what you're doing is it's funny that Josh said that. We think alike, because I was gonna reach out to you sometime after this so we can get a game plan together to do some networking. I've got some people right off the top of my head that I know that would love to talk to you about what you're doing.
I am all about networking.
And, because I see this in my circles with the folks that I run into, that people that are super busy, that that I always say, I wish that I could get this done because I just don't have time, and I want to eat this, or I want to eat better, or I would love, just all the time I'm running into something like that. So we should talk. We should talk. It's what it's all about, is connecting folks together. That's a big part of what Josh and I and Alex do. It's making connections with people, doing what we do. It's as an entrepreneur myself, I know how it is, and we all need to meet the people. It's like Coach Burt says, you need more people, right? So that's what it's all about. You just need more people. So that's what we try to do. So
Anna, so Ashley Gaylor is he also is an agent for New York Life. So Ashley networks a lot during the week. Like every day he's networking with someone, as myself and Alex are as well. Jabri is an awesome networker as well. But last night, so I went and I picked up cupcakes from you. You made cupcakes for Frances for her school board kickoff party, which went phenomenal. We had an incredible time last night. Ellie, our 3-year-old, every time we turned around, she had one of your cupcakes, licked all the icing off, and it was just cupcake left over. Nope, she didn't even eat the cupcake. She just straight had the icing. And I was like, what are you doing? Ellie liked cupcake.
She at least eat the cake?
I think she maybe ate a little bit. Man, she tore that icing up. And I was just like, I'm gonna tell Anna, you eat all the icing, you didn't eat the cupcake, you didn't eat the actual bread. But man, we had an incredible time. Those cupcakes are, and I can tell, like when you make food, when you prep food, like the TLC, the passion, the dedication of your craft, of your skills are shown through the preparation of your food and the way that you present it, because you present it right. It's not halfway, it's done professionally. And so what you bring to the table is value. Don't ever think that you're less or that someone else is better. They can be better, but if they don't continue to work on their skill set every day, they're not going to get better, and you're going to get better. So, it's whoever's going to work on that skill set day after day after day after day, it's going to get better. Like I tell my son, in football, you can be a first string, but you got to be working like you're a second string, looking for that first string position, because the day that you stop working on your skill set is the day that you start digressing, and then somebody else is going to be in the background looking to take that leading role. Yeah. You're amazing, Anna. Your food is good.
You. And what I love about food is that you can do so much with it. You can do so much with it. The chef next door may not be able to do what I do, or I might not be able to do what they do. They may specialize in Mediterranean, and I will tell you, I'm not too familiar with Mediterranean, or the chef down the street may be specialized in Mexican or Latina food, and I'm just I was like, what, I'm not too familiar with that, so let me ask, or let me refer you to another chef, which I have done a lot. I've reached out to a lot of local chefs here, personal chefs, and networked with them to get some ideas, bounce. You ask them, how did you get to where you are? What are some tips that you can give me? And some of the chefs, they were very open and very honest, and they have referred clients to me, if their client was looking for something in particular that they wasn't specialized in. And then I have done the same. I recently had a client that was looking to book me, and I didn't have any time in the books. So I referred her to another chef. And then, because I don't see us as competitors, I see us as co-workers. I have run into some chefs that didn't want to, work with me or talk to me even, because they did see us as competitors. There's a lot of people in the world. You can't cook for all of them. You can't. But like I said, again, I would have to credit you. Your drive is very, very inspiring. And I'm going to put that you have to even replicate half of it. You are doing a phenomenal job.
I want to add something that, if you ever have something big come up and you need somebody to cut up, so you need some meat cut, holler at me. I'll come and help you out. Just want to point out that I keep going. I'm really intrigued on your menu here. She has got beef Wellington on this menu now, and people see that and may think, oh, it's just beef Wellington. But to put a beef Wellington on the menu, you've got to be confident in how good it's going to be, because that is very hard dish to make and make correctly. And I know this. People may not know that, but I'm going to throw that out there. And when it's done correctly, I mean, it's one of the best things you can eat, in my opinion. I love it. So
I love beef Wellington too. And there was one time, because I'm so hard on myself, I had they were coming in from Nashville from different parts of the country, and they were all there for a business trip, and it was like their last night in Nashville, so they wanted to do a little hoorah before they left, and they wanted beef Wellington. And the beef Wellington, they loved it, but I knew professionally maybe this wasn't the best. And they reassured me, they've had beef Wellington before and it was the best beef Wellington they've ever had. But because I'm so hard on myself, a person could tell me all day, every day that something is phenomenal. In my mind, I'm always going to nitpick at something. Well, maybe my plating could have been better. Maybe this could have been better. And that kind of goes back to the whole imposter syndrome, and being hard on myself. And just like Josh said earlier, being hard on yourself sometimes is not always a bad thing, because I'm always willing to learn. I'll ask questions in a minute, how do you do this? How did you get there? There's some people that just are too cocky and they don't want to ask for help. I'll, if I need, I'm gonna ask. That's why I'm always talking to other chefs, and the chefs that refused to talk to me and told me straight out, hey, we're competitors. I don't want to give you any tips. That to me says a lot, so you're not willing to learn. You can always, especially in the culinary industry, you can learn so much. So much. I recently bought a book, which I didn't know they turned into a Netflix show. It's called Salt, Fat, Acid, and Heat. And I got that book and I learned a lot in that book, you know? And, so I love looking at cookbooks. That Salt, Fat, Acid, and Heat book is phenomenal. I didn't know they turned into a show, so now I got to watch the show.
Hey, Anna, really quick before we end this morning, we got about 5 minutes here. Quickly, what are, maybe it's a book, like you said, you're reading a book now, but how do you keep yourself going day after day after day? Is it watching YouTube videos? Is it listening to podcasts? Is it spending time in the Word? Like, what is it that keeps you going day after day after day? Like I said, we're going ready to wrap up here. We got about 5 minutes.
I have a vision for myself, and that's what pushes me, because I know where I want to be, and I'm not there yet. So I have to keep pushing. And then when I get there, I'm going to set another goal for myself and just keep on going until I probably will never be satisfied, to be honest. It's a never ending push cycle.
That's true. That's true.
That is what motivates me. The times I wanted to give up. No, I'm not giving up, because I have this vision for me in Joyful Foods that I am going to see through.
Well, thank you so much, Joy, Chef Joy, for joining us this morning for Brew with the Crew. I really enjoyed my time. I took a lot of value away from this, as did Ashley. Thank you, Jabri, for joining us for this morning. And we definitely got to bring you back on, Chef Joy, for another Brew with the Crew. With our parting words, Ashley, anything you want to say?
No, I just that I've really enjoyed this podcast this morning, talking with you, and it's really get behind what you're doing, and definitely
Thank you.
we need to get together at some point this week and talk about what's going on and how we can help. So looking forward to that.
So Chef Joy, people can reach out to you on Facebook. I got your Facebook page pulled up under Joyful Foods LLC. On Instagram, what's your name on Instagram?
So on Instagram, I'm under joys.food is the Joyful Foods official page. You can contact me via email, which is hello@joyfulfoodsonline.com, or you could call or text at 615-335-5644. You can also contact me on the website, but when Josh scrolled down, for some reason, the screen wasn't showing the form, and I just checked on my phone. It was working on my phone, so I don't know. But I'll look into that when we get off here.
No, definitely. And what I'll do is once we upload and send out the podcast and the live video, we'll put your links on there, your contact information for you that are watching and listening to our podcast as well. Reach out to Chef Joy, schedule a time to, whether it's Valentine's Day, a birthday, just because Chef Joy is definitely in one of the tops in her industry. I personally experienced it. Ashley, being a connoisseur of the meat aspect, Ashley's like, wow, some of this stuff on here is you got to be really good in your craft to be able to even put that on your menu. And so for that, I want to say thank you. For those watching, thank you. Hope you got a lot out of this and a lot of value that was added. I know I did, Ashley. you did as well. And so Chef Joy, from all of us at Brew and the Crew, thank you so much for coming on. And we're definitely going to set up another time for you to come on and to share and drop some more information on us in regards to cooking. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too.